next up is Paul Garlinghouse. He is running for Registrar of Voters in New Haven. Paul?
Hi, thank you so much. So I'm Paul Garlinghouse. I'm an attorney in private practice in New Haven. I've lived here for 22 years. And not every one of those years have I voted as a Green, but we used to have 3 Green alders at various times in New Haven, but we haven't had any for a long time. And I really am excited about what Brian and some others have been saying about the way that these local races, particularly the Registrar of Voters race, which is a citywide office, and where I can win by only coming in second, which I think is very doable. It actually helps to really build the Green Party in a big way, and that's what we're doing in New Haven. I mean, the things that all of our candidates have discussed here, healthcare for all, income inequality, taking away all these rights and privileges and welfare from the corporations, racial justice, getting control of the police, all of these things, we're right on this. And we're not just right, the majority of people agree with us, but they don't know anything really about the Green parties and the local Greens that are running. And they don't really believe that we can achieve any of the things that most of us want and need for the people, for the working people, for the people who aren't wealthy, for most of us, nearly all of us. And they don't believe it because democracy is really hollowed out. It's this sham performance where people perceive and are often correct in believing their vote doesn't matter, okay? But because we do have, you know, a line F this time, and we do have alternatives in some of these races now, I think this is really a year where people can start to see, hey, what's up with these Greens? Let's find out more about it. And seeing us in their local communities, in Willimantic, in East Hampton, in New Haven, in Hartford, and all these places, they really can start to understand that, hey, we really can do something. And so the biggest way that I want to change New Haven in particular by running for and winning Registrar of Voters is I want to see all of these races contested. As long as I get, I think it's at least 1% at a citywide election, we will be able to have a Green town committee, and we'll be able to endorse candidates for every office, from mayor to alder to everything in between. And it's really the goal to fill out that line, whether it's F or a different letter next year, next election, with candidates. And then we'll have what we haven't had in New Haven mostly at all, which is real races for all of these offices. And it really makes a difference because, I mean, a lot of people in New Haven like Democrats. You know, they're popular. They're a very popular party. And I'm not here to hate on Democrats, but I am here to say that if there's not an alternative running, there's no real accountability. And we have a bunch of Democrats. So they gave us, you know, some of these police reforms, but they didn't do anything about the prisons. And locally, we have school resource officers, police who are paid with our money, our public money, to sit in our schools and basically target minority kids and intake them into the front end of the school to prison pipeline. And that's not something that we should be spending our money on. And it's not something that we need in our schools. But our alders, our mayor, our local elected officials aren't behind getting even something as simple as getting those school resource officers out of our schools, where, by the way, both my kids went and my son still goes. And so by having a full Green party and a full Green slate in New Haven, that's going to be something that's really going to help not just New Haven, but also for people throughout Connecticut, and then ultimately all over the state, you know, all the country, replicating all of this, that, hey, we really have something that's a choice. And these proposals that most people want that everybody needs. I mean, my health insurance is through Obamacare. We're apparently a Supreme Court vote and a November hearing away from my health insurance and my kids in college health insurance going away. Okay, what are we doing about that? Well, we are doing that right now. We're the party who's advancing exactly what we need to do to fix that. And I know we're at the end, and I thank everybody who held into this time, but you can contact me and ask more questions in the chat. I muted myself. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul.